you know. Okay, so welcome to the info session to learn more about studying abroad in France. I would like to start with introductions. I am Cara Miller at Brighton, and I work at the DePaul Study Abroad office as a study abroad advisor for the France program portfolio. And I myself am an alumni of the Paris Alliance Francaise program. I studied abroad many years ago with DePaul. I actually studied in the spring of 2003, and I did not know then that it would change my life. It would put me on this path to working in the field of international education and helping other students just like me to pursue programs abroad. My grandfather was from France, so I have this kind of connection. I really wanted to reconnect to my heritage and to the language, and so that was really what propelled me. I'm a former student and still a student of Pascal Landreau, and it's wonderful to be colleagues and help other students pursue these. So I will let Madame Bro introduce herself as well and her role in these programs.
Okay, bonjour tout le monde. Does everyone speak French here or not quite, not yet? So I'm a professor at DePaul University. I've been here for close to 30 years. And I've been involved in the creation of all of these different programs that we have in France, you know, from a quarter long to semester, year long. So I have to say the students interested in French studies have really a whole array of very exciting programs to choose from. And we'll be answering questions, you know, as they come.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Pascal. And we are going to be fortunate enough to have some alumni here with us as well. And so I think maybe two of my alumni are still entering, but we do have one here who can introduce himself at the moment, and then closer to the end of our presentation, we will ask our alumni to share their experiences. So Grantley, would you like to introduce yourself and see?
Sure. Hi, my name is Grantley, and I was able to do the Sciences Po full year abroad during the 2018-2019 scholastic year before the whole pandemic and everything started. So I was thankful enough to be in Paris during the situation, and it was one of my best years, I will say, during my junior year abroad. And it was a remarkable year. It was throughout the whole Gilets Jaunes movement, and I was just able to experience everything hands-on. And it was just, it was a fantastic opportunity that Pascal and Cara were able to help me with.
Thank you so much. And so I'm glad, thank you, Grantley, for joining us today and sharing your experiences. Hopefully we'll have Erin Bowen join us. She also did the Paris Alliance Francaise program, but she is currently in France now doing the TAPIF program, the teaching assistantship program in France. So she can tell you all about what it's like currently there in just outside of Paris. And then we have Gabby Napolitano. Hopefully they'll be able to join us. She also did the Sciences Po program this past academic year. So she was there kind of during this, unique time. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to kind of talk through each of our France programs, and I'll let you know kind of timelines on when they run and when you would apply for them and so forth. So before we get into specifically the France programs, a little bit of Study Abroad 101, kind of thinking about how to select your program and which program would be a better fit for you. First, you want to think about, what are your goals in doing the program? Are you pursuing them for academic purposes, to help you fulfill your major and minor requirements if you're a language major or minor, or even if you're looking for a program that will help you fulfill credits towards your liberal studies learning domains. You also might want to think about, do I have professional goals to one day live and work in France? Do I want to pursue an internship maybe when I'm abroad? Or thinking about, the programs, even living arrangements or the cost of the program. I think that's probably the number one consideration that I get, a question that I get from students about different programs and kind of comparing costs. So thinking about those things. We have different types of study abroad programs. The programs that we'll be talking about today are mostly term-long programs where you would be there for a semester or a whole year abroad. But we also have short-term programs. There are 1 to 3 week programs that we feature to France and other places they run in December or over spring break or over the summer intersession. So keep in mind that if it may not be possible for you logistically to do a semester program abroad, then do think about pursuing a short-term program as well. And then financial aid and scholarships. This is an area where I really want students to know that there's scholarship money out there for you. When I was a student, I was a first-generation college student. I didn't have a lot of money. I was doing everything on my own. I hunted for so many scholarships, and I was able to find organizations. Even I'm part Italian, and I found an organization called the Daughters of Italy, and they had a scholarship, and the only eligibility criteria were that you had to be part Italian and want to go abroad. So I contacted them to say, well, I'm actually going to France. Can I still apply for this? And they said yes. I applied, and I won the scholarship. So please hunt for monies, that will help you get abroad. And we have our website. We have a web page for scholarships that link to, the Gilman Scholarship run through the U.S. Department of State, the Fund for Education Abroad, and all of these other kind of external scholarships from DePaul that you can apply for. So apply for as many as you're eligible for. In terms of how study abroad staff can help you, we can advise for the selection process, helping you to figure out which program is a better fit for you, not only in terms of academics, but in terms of cost as well. We help you through the application process. We help you through even the commitment period and the pre-departure process. So, talking with you about health and how to stay safe and healthy and well, doing orientation with you so that you know more about the country that you're going to, you're prepared, you know how to pack, you know about culture and cultural similarities, cultural differences. We even have, during orientation, we talk about identities and how identities might shift when you're abroad, right? And being aware of these things. So anyway, we help you through the process. We're here for you before the program, during the program, and even after the program. We do reentry, and we want you to stay connected with our office, just like how Grantley and our alumni are connected with us. We want to help you unpack your experience and do reflection exercises. And also we have a resume building workshop so that we can teach students how to showcase the skills that they learn while they're abroad, that you can show that on your resume, that you can talk about it and articulate those skills in an interview with a potential employer after you graduate. So please do, look at the entry that we offer for students. We have an ambassador program and other kinds of really, really neat initiatives. The other thing I'll say about financial aid and scholarships before I move into specific programs is that when you study on a DePaul-sponsored program, study abroad program, your financial aid does follow you. Absolutely. Any and all aid that you get at DePaul will follow you onto your program. So please remember that, and that's why we recommend them. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Let's start to talk about our programs. So we have a program I'll talk about Sciences Po first. And I put in some photos actually that were taken just in March of 2019 when I had the very good fortune of returning to France and visiting the partners there. So this is Matthew Thomas, who is your on-site director there. He's a wonderful human being, actually originally from Boston, but married a Parisian and has been living there for the last 17 years. And he's the director of the International Affairs Office there at Sciences Po. This is his colleague, Josephine Rousseau, and she helps out with orientations on site and the welcome program there. This is actually the photo of 27 Rue Guillaume, where their bookstore is. So I wanted to just give you a little, snapshot of the people that you would meet there and the street that you would, be entering one of the campus buildings on. Sciences Po is a wonderful program. It's actually an exchange where we welcome French students to DePaul, right? And we send our DePaul students there. So it's a wonderful cultural exchange. And Sciences Po actually has 7 campuses that students can choose from. Their biggest campus and main campus is the Paris campus, but it's closely followed by their campus in Reims. And Pascal, and I don't know if I'm saying that properly. I've really been trying to practice.
Yes. That's
Okay.
fine. You still passed the class.
Okay. Phew, thank you. So the campus there is about 45 minutes northeast of Paris by train. It's very easy to get to. And living in Reims is actually about 35% cheaper than it is to live in Paris. So I like to tell my students really to look at the Reims campus. But there's campuses in Dijon, in Menton in the south, in Le Havre, in Poitiers, in Nancy. And so each campus has a specific thematic focus. So for example, the campus in Paris really looks at everything, but looks mostly at the relationship of France within the European Union. The campus at Poitiers looks at France's relationship with Latin America. So you can, let's say you're a double major in French and Spanish, Poitiers would be a great campus for you to go because you can take your French courses and your Spanish courses and other courses of course, like sociology and philosophy and other humanities and religion. So I would say that the majority of our students go to Paris because the appeal of Paris, right, is very strong. But I love the other campuses. Menton is beautiful. You can learn about France's relationship to Northern Africa and to the Middle East. So I've had students who are both Arabic studies and French majors and minors go there and have that nice combination of their academic strengths. So in terms of academics, students who pursue Sciences Po would be required to take 5 courses during the semester. And they function on a 16-week semester system. So you have the fall semester for 16 weeks between August and December, and then you have another 16-week, the spring semester from January to end of May. So the courses are worth, because you're on a semester system, when the credit hours come back to DePaul, each class is typically worth 6 credit hours. Sometimes that fluctuates depending on the type of course you take at Sciences Po. It could be a lecture course or a seminar course or a workshop or an elective. So they have, just like how at DePaul we have 2 credit hour courses, they have courses that are different with ECTS points, European Credit Transfer System. Nothing you need to worry about, but something that we will advise you on as you select courses at Sciences Po. I've had students take courses in so many disciplines: religion, sociology, political science, international affairs, history. I mean, it's really, they have really amazing classes. Not to mention, Sciences Po often hosts really world-renowned guest lecturers. For example, they hosted Ruth Bader Ginsburg in 2013. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that made my heart so happy. I wish I had known back in 2013. I would have signed on for a virtual, I don't know if it was virtual as possible then, but it certainly is now. So they have a lot of really amazing guest speakers from all over the world that come and talk. So you really, the academic quality is high. I'm going to talk next about cost, because cost and housing go together. And the cost of the program, whenever you study abroad at DePaul, the financial structure is such that you would pay tuition plus a program fee. Tuition is your normal DePaul tuition for the number of credit hours that you take. And then the program fee is anything outside of tuition that's included in on the program. So for Sciences Po, for one semester, the program fee is only $400. It's low and it's affordable, but you have to ask yourself, what does this include? So this only includes the cost of the health insurance. DePaul Study Abroad will always enroll you into our study abroad travel, international student travel health insurance plan with CISI. And that's the only cost. So that means that everything else, housing and on-site transportation, these are things that you will need to budget for and pay for directly. So let's say you live on campus at Sciences Po. There's not a lot of, in Paris, there's no on-campus accommodation. In Reims, there is some student housing available that you can work with the school to reserve, and you would pay the school directly for that. If you decide to find an apartment with some flatmates, or find some other students or other friends that are renting a house or a 3-bedroom apartment, or you would share the rent. You would set that up all on your own. We are going to help you find housing, but really you're the one doing the work. So it does require a certain level of independence and autonomy and agency. But what I find is that my students, when they come back, they have so much confidence in themselves. They come back and they're like, I did that. It was tough to navigate, but I went on the Sologer website or the Colocataire website, and I navigated and I used my French skills and I got my apartment and I did it. So it really improves your confidence quite a bit and your self-efficacy.
I will,
Yes.
Excuse me, sorry. So I will say this, through Sciences Po, you have a website dedicated to the housing network. And it makes it, it facilitates the process between whether you want to stay with a family, you can do a homestay, or you can find places that are just for Sciences Po students. So, there are a bunch of websites from French organizations as well, but the Sciences Po one is very reliable, and I was able to find my housing through that. So I will just say that, yeah, it's very, very easy when you get there. It's not as frightening as it seems, but Sciences Po website does help you sort of, ease the process of finding a house there.
Thank you so much for saying that. And Grantley, what was your living situation like? Did you rent an apartment? Were you with a homestay family? Were you with friends?
First semester, I actually I had a friend. So I went to Lycée Français of Chicago, which is like a French international school here. And so I had an exchange back in sophomore year. The student I was still in contact with actually offered, when I told him I was going to Sciences Po in Paris, he's like, well, you can stay with me in Chaville. So it's just a little suburb right outside of Paris, maybe 20 minutes on the train from Saint-Lazare. And I was there for the first semester, and then the second semester, I decided to get an apartment in the 6th right by Saint-Michel. And it was the best of both worlds. The homestay family, I was able to, dine and eat every single night with the family. Even like the 92-year-old grandfather who had stories back from the war, and practice my French, which was very interesting to say the least. And then with my apartment, I had that sense of independence, like you said. And coming back, I had that confidence, but it was definitely much more centralized. But you have places all around Paris, everything from Butte Chaumont in the 19th district to Cité Universitaire, which is mostly student housing. If you want to, be with other students from other houses, the Brazilian house, the Canadian house. So you have everything in Paris really for housing. But yeah, I had the best of both, you could say.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I can say the same thing. I had a homestay family when I was there, and really I think that's why my French went up 2 levels by the time I came back, because I would show up to the breakfast table and the dinner table with a little notebook, and I would talk to them and I would listen, and anytime there was a word I didn't understand or heard, I said, s'il vous plaît, écrivez pour moi, like, please write this for me, because and they would teach me new words, and I would learn how to kind of circumlocute, but also it was just a good skill to gain vocabulary and to practice your passé composé, to tell them what you did yesterday, and when they're asking you, well, what are your plans for today, to be using your future tense, and so that's really good. I'm glad. Yes, Pascal, of course.
Maybe we should say something about the academics, because Sciences Po offers classes both in French and in English. And in order to be able to take the French courses, you have to be at a fairly advanced level in French. I would say probably a 300 level. Every student going there, I believe, has to take a language class, a French language class. So you would be, one of your 5 classes would be a French language class. And then the rest of your courses could be you know, either in French or in English or a mix of the two. So you need to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for adding that. And I believe if we can talk a bit about how if you are a French major or minor, how those courses would apply. I believe that the current what we do currently is that 3 out of the 5 courses can apply towards your major and minor. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then so that means, you know, if you want to challenge yourself and take all of your courses in French, you should. But those other 2 courses, you can maybe you focus more on a liberal studies learning domain. You know, maybe you take a philosophy class or a sociology or, you know, religion to fulfill your religious dimensions criteria. So I would say keep your liberal studies and learning domains open. Don't try not to take them at DePaul so that you can take them abroad. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Any questions about Sciences Po before I kind of switch gears and talk about our other program with Paris IES?
Is the Sciences Po program one of the ones where you need to be either a French major or minor to take it or to participate in it?
No,
you don't have to be a major or a minor. I mean, you could actually only have very little French and go and take all of your classes in English. That would be one way of experiencing the Sciences Po institution. You know, personally, because I'm a French professor and I know the value of learning a language and a culture, I feel that you'd be much better prepared if you'd taken, you know, a number of French courses here at DePaul prior to your going. But you do not have to be, in fact, anyone at DePaul can apply for the Sciences Po program. It's not even limited to the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
When I applied, I was a finance major with a Chinese minor, so it was very sort of, you know, straying away from the French minor and major too. So it was a very special situation. So if any of you are business majors or, you know, aren't French majors specifically, just don't be discouraged. It's still, you know, they will welcome you with arms open.
Agreed. Good. Other questions? And there'll be some time as well at the end of the presentation too. That's fine. Okay.
So the deadline is coming up.
It is.
February 1st.
Thank you. Yes. So that's a very important detail. So if you're interested in the program to participate in the fall of 2021, you would need to apply before February 1st. So in order to apply, it's a pretty streamlined process. We have a questionnaire just to get to know you a little bit more so that you can tell us why this program is appealing for you. The second piece is an unofficial transcript that you can download from Campus Connect and upload into your study abroad application. And then the third piece is an online recommendation form. So you can approach a DePaul professor or even an academic advisor. And if you're a student employee on campus, you can even have a staff supervisor fill this out on your behalf. Let them know that the online recommendation form is only 8 questions. It should take about 10 minutes to complete, so it's nothing too time intensive. So hopefully that helps. Yes, Pascal. Yes.
So maybe I'll just add that whether you're interested in a semester long or the whole year, the deadline is February 1st.
Yes.
Because it's an exchange program, so we need to know, you know, who's interested and how we can figure out the numbers we can send.
That's right, because you know, Sciences Po is sending us the same number, so it's like we need to make sure that we match the numbers for the exchange balance so that it's all even. So very important. Okay, good. Wonderful. So I will move now into speaking about our Paris IES program. And so similarly, when I was there, gosh, I can't believe it was almost 2 years ago now, but I went to visit all of our partners there. And so this is the team of people who are ready and waiting to welcome you there at the Paris IES Center. This is Director Scott Lingas. He's the on-site director there, and his team, Mallory and oh gosh, Joseph, and I'm horrible with names, so I'm forgetting some of the names, but each of them have a different role in the office. She helps with your course registration and academic advising. He helps with social and cultural adjustment and getting you out and into Paris. These are some of our other coordinators, administrators that help with their academic program, but also cultural. I think she gives neighborhood tours and offers additional admin support. I think she also works in the library there. And then this is a picture of the IES building and their courtyard. They have a lovely courtyard that students can spend some time and enjoy some green space. And it's a really, the IES Center is a really nice facility, great computer lab and a library and nice classroom spaces. Their classrooms are really personable. Kind of, it reminds me of the smaller classrooms at the DePaul Student Center in Lincoln Park, where you can fit, 20, but usually you'd have a smaller group of students, maybe 10 to 12, is very, very personable. So with the Paris IES program, this is a one-way study abroad program, not an exchange. And we work with IES Abroad. They have, campuses and branch campuses all over the world. And we work with their Paris Center to provide programming to our students. Now, they also operate on a semester system. So 16 weeks. In the fall, it would be August to December, and then for the academic year, of course, August to the end of May. Right now, we are currently recruiting students who are interested in Paris IES, who would like to go in the winter and spring of 2022. So this would be January to May of 2022. The application deadline for this program is actually coming up on May 1st. So you'll see that you have much more time to apply for this program. In terms of academics, you would also be expected to take 5 courses, and each of those courses would count as 6 credit hours each here at DePaul for each class. So you'd be earning 30 credit hours total for the coursework you take. This is also requires students to have more of an intermediate to an advanced level of French, because when you enter the IES Center, you'll see a big sign on the wall that says, only French right now from this moment forward, so they really push students to only use their French, and it's okay to make mistakes. This is how we learn, right? So the courses that are offered, I could show you when you go to our website, when you click under the academic section, there's a link to the IES page, and it has a wonderful list of about probably 50 or 60 courses that students can take. And there are some popular ones like Paris museums. A lot of my students who pursue this one, they love it's called AH275, Paris museums. They love it because, maybe you're in the class a few minutes, 20 minutes at a time, but then you're leaving to go to the Musée d'Orsay or to the Louvre or to the Rodin Museum or the Picasso Museum or all these other wonderful museums that are there in Paris. So really, Paris is your classroom. And it's just an awesome program. With the IES program, they also have internships available. So it's a great way for you to gain some international work experience. You would have an internship seminar along with your professional work experience. So they might, place you with a Parisian organization there. And then as you're doing, I think it's 10 to 20 hours each week in the internship, you're also combining it with a seminar where you're unpacking the competencies and the skill sets that you're learning as a result of being in a French business environment. So it's really, really been great for our students to be able to do that. The other great thing, sorry, I ventured into internships, but I still want to talk about academics. The other great thing is that IES partners with really renowned and prestigious schools, right? French schools. So you could take a class or two at the Sorbonne or at Paris 4 or the Institut Catholique there's even, I think they partnered with the School of Dance, and art, a wonderful art school that you can take art and painting and drawing. And so if you wanted, you could take 3 or 4 classes at IES, but then 1 or 2 classes at the French institution that they partner with. So that's really neat. And I mean, the Sorbonne is like 800 years old. That's amazing. It's like the Harvard of France, so so I would highly recommend that you pursue that as well. Yes, please, Pascaline. Yes.
It's also important to say that all the courses are in French.
Yes. Yes.
So unlike Sciences Po, you need to know that you would be fully immersed, and they do provide homestay if you'd like. And the internship is a great thing. Sciences Po does not have the internship opportunity, but so that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you. Yeah, very important details. Please, I thank you for adding these, because sometimes I get so wrapped up in all of what I know about the programs that I forget like other really important details. So thank you, Pascaline, for making sure to be explicit about really important details. Please keep doing that. So I'll talk about housing, as Madame Ro mentioned, with the housing, you do have the option of living with a homestay family or with living in a student dormitory. I had one student one time, she was there for the whole year, and she did a homestay for the fall semester and then a student dormitory for the spring, just to have the experience of having the 2 different, kind of living arrangements. There are benefits to both. Like I said before, when you're with a homestay family, your language acquisition really benefits, and you profit from always having to practice and learn and interact and communicate. When you're living in a student dorm, you have to be careful of being in an English bubble or an American bubble, but you also have a little more not autonomy or independence, but you have, you can go out and have dinner and stay out late without having to make sure that you're calling your host family to say, hey, don't worry about me, I'm safe, I'm not going to make it home for dinner tonight, but I'm there. So there are different kind of advantages and disadvantages. When you're living in a student dorm, remember, you're spending more money on cooking for yourself and going to the markets, and preparing meals. I had a student one time tell me, well, going to the market is so difficult because there's just ingredients there. And it really made me chuckle. You got to put the ingredients together, but going to the market is very easy. That's actually one of my favorite things to do whenever I visit a new country. It's a wonderful cultural learning experience just to see how things are done there. I remember standing in the market not realizing like how much did the fruit cost, because you have to take the fruit and weigh it and punch in the number, and then the ticket pops out and you stick the sticker on the fruit, and then you go pay for it. Even just understanding the norms of a grocery store, right, is a learning experience when you're in a different country. So anyway, I'll get off of that. But so housing, you have those options. In terms of cost, I will say that the cost of this program is high. It's much higher. I think for 1 semester, it hovers around 10,000 for the program fee. But that's because it includes a lot. The program fee includes your housing. It includes the insurance. It includes even a 1-year subscription to the Alliance Francaise. You get a membership for a whole year after you come back, so that you can keep your French skills going. And it includes program excursions. So I think IES takes students on some day trips from Paris, but also I think that they have 1 weekend excursion. You might go to the Loire Valley and visit some castles and learn about them. You might do a biking trip through Dijon, right? So it's really fantastic. You might go to Fontainebleau, or you might go to Giverny to see Monet's house. So these are things that you will do, and it's a package program, which is why it's so expensive. Again, remember, financial aid applies, and that you should be looking for scholarships to help you reduce the cost of this.
And perhaps this is a good time for me to add that in modern languages, if you're a major or a minor in a language, we're going to be offering an array of scholarships for study abroad specifically. So, keep your eyes and ears open, and that would be one way of helping out.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. And scholarships, DePaul Study Abroad, our office does award scholarships to students. You don't actually have to apply for it for the scholarship separately. Whenever you apply for a DePaul Study Abroad program, we automatically consider you for a scholarship through our office. And our awards range between $1,000 and $5,000, and they're given out based on a combination of your academic merit, so GPA, and your financial need. So we work with the financial aid office to see what your FAFSA, on file might say, to show us if you demonstrate high financial need, then there's a good chance that you'll be able to get a scholarship from my office. Wonderful. Any questions? I know this is a lot of information to share. Yes, Elizabeth.
I was just wondering, like, when we should really start looking for scholarships and stuff, like the Daughters of Italy one you were talking about. Should we kind of wait until we know if we're accepted into a program, or?
Apply now, start hunting now. And the reason is because a lot of scholarships open now for students who want to go abroad starting in the fall. So many scholarships happen 9 months to a year before you even get to travel. So I would say start applying for scholarships now, even before you've applied for a program at DePaul, even before you've gotten accepted. What happens typically is that you'll apply for a scholarship, and then they will reach out to our office to certify or confirm that you have applied for a program, been accepted to the program, and have committed to the program. So I would say, again, start hunting now. And the reason is, look, when you look at the Gilman Scholarship, that just opened. And I think that they have a deadline of like March 1st or March 4th. Don't quote me on that. Look at their website. Fund for Education Abroad literally just opened and closed in the month of January. So there are scholarships that are going to open in March, open in May, open in, you want to get a sense of how many are out there that you might be eligible for. When do they open? How do you apply? Is it an essay writing contest? Is it, do I need to propose some sort of project? Do I need to promise to make a presentation about the scholarship to other students? Stuff like that. So please don't wait. Start applying for scholarships now.
Thank you.
Great. Other questions? Okay. Either about Paris IES or other. Okay. All right. I will start to talk about our next program that we feature. So again, for Paris IES, we're currently recruiting interested students who want to go for the winter-spring term of 2022. You can apply before May 1st. And the application is the same as Sciences Po. It's pretty streamlined across all of our term-long programs. Okay. So next, let's talk about the Paris Alliance Francaise and CEA internship program. So this is just a photo of the Alliance from, I think I was standing on the Rue de Raspail here. They have a beautiful courtyard, and when you walk into the building, they have an even more grand staircase. It's just a really gorgeous building. And they even have another building around the corner. So they have two buildings, and your classrooms. Oh, good. Erin, one of our alumni has just entered, and she actually did this program in the spring of 2019. So she'll be able to tell you about it when I introduce her to do so. But the Alliance Francaise is the program that I did many years ago, and it was such a wonderful program. Super it was transformational. It really has the power to just change your life when you study in France. So on this program only runs in the spring quarter. So it's a 10-11 week, I should say, sorry, it's a 12-week program. And we work with two schools to run the program. We work with the Alliance Francaise to provide 2 French language courses, and you can be at any level in French. We would like for you to have, a French 101 or a French 102 under your belt before you go. But if you do start from a completely beginning level, that's fine. Alliance Francaise can accommodate beginning French students. So you would take 2 courses, French language courses at the Alliance Francaise, and then you would take 2 content area courses at the CEA Center. Now, the CEA Center is located in the 6th arrondissement. They're on Rue de Brac in the Marais district, which is really beautiful. It's close to Place des Vosges, and it's just gorgeous area. And Alliance Francaise is not that far away. They're closer to the Saint-Germain-des-Prés neighborhood, and right next to the Jardin du Luxembourg. So, you know, often students would spend time, they would leave class and go to the Jardin du Luxembourg to read and to talk, and sometimes to picnic, which was really fantastic. So it's just great. I love it there, if you can't tell. So the CEA Center would host you for 2 content area courses. These are an art history course that can help you complete your liberal studies learning domain of arts and literature. And then the other one is like a French civilization course or a French history. So for this upcoming year, I think we chose a Parisian citizen and politics course to really kind of look at how Parisians engage with their local government and their society in general, how much of a voice they have in their social contract. So that class would help you to fulfill your social, cultural, and behavioral inquiry liberal studies learning domain. And that's typically the academic structure of the program. We do have an internship track that we've introduced on this program just a few years ago. I think we started it maybe 3 years ago in 2017, where we have an internship that there are 2 types of internships. One is a film internship for film students. We have a professor at CDM who has a close connection with the director of the Champs-Élysées Film Festival there in Paris. And so they were looking for interns, and we realized, hey, this is a kind of a natural connection here. Let's have our film students who are learning French and coming on this program to work as interns for the Champs-Élysées Film Festival. And then that grew to include internships for French students. You know, so if you're wanting to get experience working with an a local organization, you can have an 6 to 8 week internship with CEA. They place students at locations like, for example, when I was there in March of 2019, we got to visit an event space called the Mona Bismarck Center, and we had interns working there to help do event planning. And so I think this student was a PR and advertising major, but was really interested in French and gaining that experience. So it was really neat to see that students can also take an internship here and take French and learn content area courses. Now, if you do the internship, if you choose the internship track, that means that you do have the internship seminar as well to help you learn about, you know, the skill sets in the 21st century, you know, employability competencies from NACE. So because you'll be doing that, you will need to dial back on one of your courses. So either you would take one less French course or one less CEA content area course so that you can make room for your internship experience and internship seminar. So that's the structure of the program. Housing is included in the program fee, and I'll talk about cost in a moment. The housing is with a homestay family because, again, it's a language and culture acquisition program. So we really want you to spend time with that family to learn the language, practice the language, and have cultural informants that can teach you about colloquialisms and gestures that you should or should not do and what other cultural faux pas and everything like that. So that's housing. The cost, what I like about this program is that the cost is affordable. The program fee typically hovers around $5,000. And that's including, you know, the housing is the majority of the cost. With the housing, with the homestay family, of course, you do get your meals, you know, breakfast and dinners are provided to you. You're on your own for lunches, but go ahead.
No. I think maybe it's a certain number of dinners that you get every week.
That's right. It's 3 dinners per week.
Number.
That's right. It's 5 breakfasts per week and 3 dinners per week. That's correct. Because we realize that students like to go out for dinner and to see friends and people. And so, you know, you might not be home for dinner all that much, actually. That happens quite a bit. So we decided to lower the program fee by decreasing the number of meals. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, important details. Um, so the cost, you know, we try to make it affordable for our students for this 11, 12-week program in France. And it's packaged, you know, housing is included, insurance is included. There are also excursions through CEA. They do day trips from Paris, so you might go to Versailles and see the palace of King Louis XIV. You might go to Reims to, you know, try some champagne. You might, you know, visit the Veuve Clicquot station. Not station, the caves and everything. So you have different trips that you can take. There's also one weekend excursion that's included. So you might go and visit like the cliffs of Etretat over in closer to Brittany and Mont Saint-Michel. You might go to Aix-en-Provence to walk in the footsteps of Cézanne. That was I visited it independently, and I love Aix-en-Provence. It's one of my favorite cities there in France. So you know, you might be able to go and explore, not only on the excursions, but also, you know, take the TGV, take the regional trips, go visit Lyon on your own. You know, go spend the weekend to visit other areas. Languedoc region is beautiful. Anyway, you can visit all these wonderful places. If you go to a tiny town near the Pyrenees, it's called Perpignan. That's where Salvador Dali would sit at the train station and get inspired, you know, for his beautiful artwork. So for his surrealism, he called the Perpignan train station le centre du monde, right? The center of the world. So I would encourage you to just explore France, and this is a great way to do it. I will, at this point in time, ask, I think Erin Bowen, I hope Erin, maybe she was, hold on, admit, maybe she was, oh, I hope she wasn't
might
stuck.
have left and we need to
and re-entered. I just hit, here she goes. Oh, unfortunately, I think she might have been stuck in the waiting room. Oh my goodness. But Erin was a student on the Paris Alliance Francaise program more recently than myself. So I think her stories would be very valuable. So Erin, I'm gonna give you a soft introduction if you can hear me. I know you're probably getting set up. Is the audio working okay?
You tell me. Can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, fantastic. That French Wi-Fi, you know, it's a blessing and a curse. But yeah, no, I can hear and everything's good.
So Erin, can you tell us a little bit about your experience at the Alliance Francaise?
Absolutely. The Alliance Francaise is, you know, I think it's world renowned for a lot of reasons, but in terms of French education, I would say it's unparalleled. You know, it's absolutely so unique. You get to go to school every day with people from all over the world. I interacted with people from Thailand, from China, from Serbia, Portugal, Brazil. I interacted with other English speakers and people that didn't speak any English at all. And the only way that we could communicate was through the little French that both of us knew. And it's a very, very humbling and amazing experience to be able to do that. And their French education is really, really good. I left after 3 months at the Alliance Francaise. I left feeling almost fluent when I got back to the United States, which was a really, really big deal for me with my French education. So overall, that was really great. And CEA is also wonderful. They take such good care of you. And yeah, I had a lovely time on the program overall.
Great, thank you. I'm gonna, let me go back. I'm gonna actually open it up to both of our alumni to tell us just a little bit more. And namely, the questions here I have on the presentation, the PowerPoint. I hope you can see it okay. But really, to briefly describe your study abroad program. How did you decide on that program? And how did the program relate to your academic studies? tell us what you gained from your experience, and if you could share any advice that you would give to other students. So if I could have Erin talk about that first, and then Grantley talk about that.
Sure, sure. So I did the CEA Alliance Francaise program in Paris. I chose that program because I was a CDM student. I almost said I am a CDM student. I just graduated, so I'm no longer. But, and that was what fit with my really rigorous CDM curriculum. It was to go abroad for only 1 quarter. So it was really nice to have that option. And I did the French track with the CEA program. So I did 2 courses in English and then 2 courses in French. And the 2 courses in French are pretty rigorous. You know, one of them is worth 6 credit hours. So it does meet 3 times a week for 3 hours. And it was really, really good for my French. It was super, super helpful. And then the CEA courses, I took the art history course, which is really wonderful because it gets you in free to all Parisian museums, which is almost unheard of in any other circumstance. So it's a wonderful thing to take advantage of. And then we also did a French cultural class that was in English as well. Both of them were really, really interesting and lovely, and I learned a lot from both. It is, I think, very interesting because the CEA experience, and Kara can correct me if I'm wrong, you know, you do end up in a homestay. And I think the homestay plus the Alliance Francaise classes really, really allow you to work on your French fluency. And that is a big part of this program, whether you're on the film track or you're on the French track. So knowing that going in, I think is very, very helpful for students because you will be speaking French. And even if you don't know French, you will be learning how to speak French. So yeah.
That's awesome. And I'd like to mention as well, Erin is joining us from France because she's doing the TAPIF. Can you tell us just a little bit about the TAPIF program and you know, basically encourage other students to maybe pursue it after they graduate?
Yeah, I am currently a language teaching assistant in Paris. I work in the Academy of Créteil, which is just outside of Paris, but I am phoning in from Montmartre this evening because it is 7 p.m. here. But yeah, so I am a teaching assistant in a French middle school. I help with English classes, and I'm here for an 8-month contract. And it's relatively easy to kind of just jump in and do this right after college. You apply, applications are actually due at the end of this month. If you would like to apply, you still can. And then you get to have a second French experience and come back, which was something I wanted. And so, yeah, I'm having a blast and I am loving interacting with French middle schoolers. It's wild and fun, and I have an exciting day every day. So.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I'm delighted that you're back there in France. That makes my heart happy.
Me too. Yeah.
Thanks. So Grantley, can you tell us about more about your experience?
Sure. So I chose the 1-year program, which is again different campuses. I decided to go with Paris, being a centralized location and sort of like the heart of.
Grant, can I stop you for 1 second and ask you to specify that this was the Sciences Po program, because Hannah just came in and I believe that she might have some interest for that one.
So it was a Sciences Po program, which was a difficult track. There were papers to write, questionnaires, everything to fill in, but I went in with an open mind, and I had some knowledge on the school itself. For my high school, I had students who did a dual Columbia University and Sciences Po program, so I had some sort of knowledge. And when I found out that DePaul was able to offer this program, I was stunned. Immediately ran to Pascal. I was like, "How do I get in? I need to get in." So we ended up, going back and forth in emails. Interview comes, do the interview, and then I get my email saying I get in. Had a great time there. I decided to choose Paris over Hans, which is like the Anglo program where a lot of the international students go who mostly focus on English. But I was also deciding between Le Havre because that was also focused on like Far East programs and studies. However, you go to Paris, you have this orientation program where you sign up for and you meet people like Aaron had said, all around the world, people from Brazil, student ambassadors who bring, this globalized perspective into any interaction. And it was, a fantastic experience, especially, pre-COVID, I guess you could say, there were events hosted in the city. The students were able to, mingle with each other. You go out of class, you still have that, international perspective throughout the city, which was fantastic. I was able to work with Factio at Station F, which is like one of the largest incubators for startups. So I was thankful enough to work with INSEAD as well, which is like a school right in the south of Paris, and sort of gain a professional aspect of working in Paris as well as studying there. I helped co-found the ski team of Sciences Po. I was on the tennis team. There's any sort of track that you want to go on, sports-wise. You have soccer. You have anything you want. Every year that they hosted, the sports weekend, which was fantastic. All the Sciences Po students come, and it was just filled with, amicable sort of like rivalry. And I would just give advice to, go in with an open mind and just don't let yourself feel uncomfortable. Because when I first got there on the first day of school and kind of waltzed in, it's like that freshman year feeling where you kind of like don't really know what's going on. It's a smaller school, much smaller than DePaul. And, you have, maybe 1,000 students in the undergrad program. So, everyone sort of knows each other. But then you go in, then within like, a week or two, automatically right off the bat, you make your friends, you explore Paris together. Everyone's on the same boat as you, especially in a program that, when you study abroad. And so, yeah, I would just say that, just go in there with an open mind and give it your all. It's challenging academically, but you'll be rewarded with your experiences there.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. Yeah, do get involved. Do get involved. And I know, I know that with, kind of the pandemic era that we're living in, socializing is going to look different, but they still have lots of ways to be involved and to connect with people. They have more, they're doing things, of course, as we all are, doing more things virtually and online, and facilitating safe student meetups. When the weather's warmer, it's easier too to be meeting and outside and getting together at parks and doing stuff like that. But they do have quite a few societies to join and student involvement opportunities. Good. Let's open it up for questions. Does anyone here in the audience, would you like to ask questions to our alumni or to Madame Vro or to me about anything, the programs or the process?
You mentioned how the courses are good for covering credits for your liberal arts requirements. If I'm in the honors program, can I still get credit for those requirements? Yes.
So Nancy Grossman has been a really wonderful advocate for study abroad. She's an advisor there at the honors department, and Rose Spalding, and they're all very supportive. Typically, it's easier to fulfill like an honors 205 or I forget what the course called, but an arts course and a world history type course. So what I would recommend is, definitely don't take it from me, consult with Nancy Grossman first and see what types of courses would be more easily attainable while on your study abroad programs. But yes, students can earn honors credit while abroad.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Great question. Other questions?
What do you hope to achieve with your year abroad, just for the prospective students? I kind of came in there with the idea that, I would gain a sense of, international sort of understanding, and just kind of gain, just perspective from all over. But I want to ask students who are, thinking about doing abroad, you want to go there because, you want to just take a year away from America, or you want to just go over there to practice your French, meet new people. Really, what is your ultimate goal, I guess you could say, for deciding to go abroad.
And you can type your response in the chat too.
don't feel pressured
You can
if you
you can popcorn style respond, unmute yourself and talk to us, or you can, if you're more comfortable typing in the chat, that's fine too. But that's a great question, Grantley. You can tell us a little bit more about what you guys are hoping. I know for me, when I was a student, because I was a first gen student, I didn't have any money. I was putting myself through school. So for me, even though I wanted to spend a year abroad, I couldn't do it financially. That's why the spring quarter program really helped me. It was just something that I could afford. But anyway, I'm open to hearing stories that are similar to my own, whether you want to pursue a quarter length program or a semester length program or an entire academic year program. So good. So I'm seeing, yeah, go ahead.
I'm definitely like interested in like improving my French and like making international connections and all of that, but I sort of think that I don't really know what to expect about studying abroad, and I'm kind of open-minded as to what I will get out of the experience, but I just like want to try new things.
I think the open-mindedness is wonderful. If you have too many expectations, it's a different culture. So you might feel that your expectations are not being met or fulfilled. But if you go with an open mind, yeah, then you just take it in. And 30 years later, you're like me, you stay in the country, because I came here as a study abroad student, to improve my English. And I loved it. I loved my experience. I went to graduate school here, and I'm still here.
That's awesome. And impacting lives like mine. So that's great. Well, and you bring up another good point, Pascaline, is that if you're interested in graduate school, of course we would love you to study abroad with us while you're working on your undergraduate career here at DePaul. But if you're thinking about, maybe you want to pursue a master's degree there in France, please come talk to us. I'm happy as an advisor to sit and talk with you about what steps you could take to pursue graduate school abroad in France. That's a wonderful way to live in France for 2 years and, have your student visa.
We had a number of students who've been very successful in getting accepted in MA programs. So that's definitely an option, which is a lot cheaper, by the way, than what it would cost you here.
Oh, yes.
So continue working on your French, I'd say.
Yes. Yes.
I can also talk a little bit more about postgraduate programs in France, because I am planning to actually renew my TIFIF contract for a second year here in Paris. Well, I may not be in Paris next time, but it was actually Cara that wrote my recommendation letter for this program. And if I had not studied abroad at DePaul, I never would have known that this program existed. And I get to have these really interesting multilingual conversations and experiences every day because of that. So, it's more than just that quarter or that year abroad, as other people have said. It's, it opens up a whole other world for you. And man, I wish I could be that person 30 years from now that's still living in France. So
you might be.
I hope so. So depending on what your expectations are, I think having an open mind is great, and also expecting that maybe this will go farther than just your study abroad experience. Because I know for me, the study abroad office has been there for me through much more than just my quarter abroad. So
thanks, Erin. Wonderful. Well, I know that we are over time. I know, this session was supposed to end at 1 o'clock, but it's been such a rich, session where we get to share information and hear from our alumni. And I'm so grateful to our alumni for joining us today. And I'm so grateful for our French faculty. Thank you so much, Madame Bro, for being here with us today. And thank you all for attending to gather more information. I'd like to share with you, that we have lots of ways for you to connect to DePaul Study Abroad. We have our student stories that are posted up on the blog. We have a student blog called The Sojournal. So if you want to visit the Sojournal and read about students who have gone to France and have done other programs, please look there. We have an Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube account. And my email address is published right on the DePaul Study Abroad website. So if you would like to get in touch with me, please feel free to do so. And we have, I have open advising hours during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can actually schedule an appointment to talk with me via Blue Star. So if you go on to, go into Campus Connect, go into Blue Star, you can see my calendar and my schedule and make an advising appointment with me. At this point in time, oh, wonderful, thank you. Pascaline put her email in the chat, and that's a good practice, so I will follow suit. Thank you for being, again, a good example and role model for me.
Feel free to reach out. It's my favorite topic, so anytime, any day.
I love it. I love it. Great. Well, then, with that said, I hope that all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bonne journée, and come and visit us soon. Okay? All right. Thanks so much.
Au revoir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oui, de rien.